Yo, what's up? Another episode of Akerele, um, a brand for the humble and creative mind. I'm here with the one and only Jenny. Yay!
Thank you for having me. Uh, how's it
My
going?
question is: Who are you? Who are you not? What do you do? And what don't you do?
um, these are all really good questions. They're very big life questions in some ways that I do actually spend a lot of time on the day to day thinking about, and I think sort of influence a bit of what I do or don't do with my time. Um, Yeah, I feel like in terms of who I am, I think on probably a very basic or very superficial level, I am an Asian American person, born and raised in the Bay Area. I've lived in Oakland for about 20 years, not far from where I was born, and I guess for the most part consider this home if I'm gonna live here for that long. It's an interesting place to to be hailing from.
Very interesting.
Um, yeah, am. I actually have a hard time defining who I am, partly because of maybe being someone who was raised in the Bay Area. We There's a lot of conversation that comes up around identity and how people identify here. So I've spent many years sort of questioning that and playing with it. I
I think like why so yeah why is there such a why is that such a thing? Why do we have to define ourselves? You know what I mean? Like why can't I know it sounds like a hippie-ish or whatever, but like why can't you just be? Why can't we just be? Why is there so much emphasis on
Right,
people having to always define themselves? Like
right. I
who
think
gives a shit? I don't know.
I think there's a few things
Okay.
that are subconscious and maybe conscious of why we define ourselves. Like, and they can go both ways, but one thing that I think about in terms of why maybe we have a tendency of doing that is actually living in a white supremacist society.
Hmm.
I think that like white people have created their own labels for people of color historically and have seen others as objects. So, by labeling and identifying them as objects for labor and whatnot to be exploited or used to kind of uphold agendas of uh, capitalism and things like that, that has created a tendency towards defining others. But I think also nowadays there's a lot of conversation and or emphasis on maybe people reclaiming their own identities or defining that for themselves, especially when it comes to things like gender identity here,
Hmm.
as sort of a way for people to kind of resist those labels that were put on us or others around myself over
Hmm.
time historically. So potentially there's a power in then defining yourself as something, so that no one can necessarily um, just take control or power over you and or your body at this point.
Hmm.
So I think in some ways, yes, like defining ourselves and having our own identity is also a way, not only now to kind of like protect ourselves and carve out the space that we inhabit and not have someone else define it for us, but also I think it can be a way to sometimes create community Um, it can be very tricky because sometimes it also can lend to exclusivity too.
Cliquish.
Yeah. And so in some ways, yeah, I mean, even me being like, I don't necessarily have a particular identity is still an identity. I mean, you can't escape it either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, and yeah, so I guess I could say who I am also sometimes includes like what I'm aiming for or the values I'm trying to aim to uphold and work towards in my life. So maybe it's a practice every day of going um, in those directions of embodying those values of
Mm.
maybe I'm someone who is, you know, a compassionate community member who wants to be of service to others, is someone who wants to dismantle things like white supremacy and racism and classism and just kind of like the things that sort of separate us as uh, people. Um, and so, in some ways, yes, that is a large part of, I guess, how I would say that's who I am. Uh, includes who I hope to be and the things I try to practice. Um, I think, yeah, I'm also someone who really values being creative, so I guess I could say that I am a creative person, but it doesn't mean I make art every day or,
Right.
but I feel like my thought processes tend to lean towards creativity. Um,
And that's basically like, I guess, sort of the exercise of my mission statement as a brand, and of these interviews and so forth, is to kind of showcase that you don't have to necessarily be a painter
mhm,
or a musician or whatever to be an artist. I
mhm,
just feel like we all are creatives, we all are artists in our own right. Um, how a person walks, how a person talks is art to me. It inspires me. Um, so I'm happy that you said that.
Yeah, and I think also too, like who I am, like essentially, I'm probably like a very simple person. I've just, like any other person on this planet, I have basic needs. Oh, but I was gonna say with complex trauma and PTSD. Uh,
Tell me about it.
yeah, and living in and I have like complex layers to myself.
Mm,
So maybe I'm someone who appreciates simplicity in things,
mm.
but yeah, I think I have maybe like a complex way that I sort of think about the world. Let that siren pass. And then who I am not. Wow, well, I mean, I'm not who you think I am. I think that oftentimes it's so easy to walk around in this world um, inadvertently. All of us do this, projecting our own inner experiences onto other people, thinking that that's who they are without having a conversation with them and letting other people express and share and come from where they are coming from before we automatically make some sort of
Decision or
decision.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I try to be someone that, you know, tries to kind of keep a blank mind in terms of interacting with others and including myself. So I don't know. I'm like a fluid person too. So who I am not is maybe someone that's not interested in necessarily leaving this planet as the same person that
That you began as. Yeah.
yeah,
Which is, I feel, almost impossible.
right, totally.
Even if you sit there every day, there's still some sort of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not someone that is um, necessarily easily swayed by things
Hmm.
either. Not that I'm someone, I am an accepting person, very open to all kinds of ideas and things like that.
But you're still a critical thinker.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been someone that just, yeah, is like, well, I'm not so sure about that. I am not someone that has deep, like, opinions about things that then I think are facts.
Mm.
I have very few beliefs, actually.
Mm.
I would say I probably, like, I believe in love,
Mm.
but what is that? And that's for us to find out. But yeah, other than that, I just try to be someone that's like, I'm here in this like meat suit on a journey, and it's very psychedelic in its own right. So who I'm not, wow. I mean, I'm sure I'm not a lot of things. I'm not the president of the United States. Don't ever want to be.
Yeah, I don't think I want that gig either.
Yeah, I'm not a politician. I am not a cop. Not, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not college educated.
Okay.
Although I have been to college, but I realize I'm not someone that is ever going to follow that path that has been laid out traditionally.
Right.
Not closed off to it, but just realize that's just not my path, and
Yeah.
I've tried and I can't do it,
Yeah.
and haven't been able to. But I love, learning and things like that, and I'm
Mhm.
not resistant to things like
Right.
that. But I guess I'm not for just like a blind walking into
Mhm.
whatever life is either. But ironically, I'm very accepting, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you heard it from the great.
Apparently, I'm someone that rants on and on.
We all do. We all do.
But okay, so what do I do? Wow, I mean, you're asking this in a time where life is very
Where they're shutting us down so we don't do anything.
questionable. Yeah, I know.
Where we can't do anything.
I honestly love not doing anything because I feel like it's very anti-capitalist, and yeah.
Well, which if you see her Instagram, she's always doing something. So that's interesting.
Okay, yeah, I'm not. Let me refine.
You're always doing something. Yeah.
I'm always doing something, just not producing anything. Because I'm very intentional about not being pressured to always have to produce something. But
What do you mean, like produce, like
create something?
like a physical, tangible or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Although when I do, it just comes from a place of just I felt a moment of
Mhm.
passion around it, and but yeah, I mean, in general, what do? I love creating spaces for people to gather in. I love connecting with other human beings and learning about what makes them who they are, what inspires them. And so then I try to, I think, create moments and experiences with people where we can do that. And oftentimes I kind of tie that into trying to understand people's ancestral histories, trauma, life experiences, anything that kind of would shape someone to be who they are, and then find ways to like kind of intertwine that with creative outlets.
Mm.
I'm really into promoting people's creativity and their projects. So yeah, those are things I do aside from when I'm working a job or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I love kind of observing the world around me, and yeah, trying to understand like the stories that we all have about ourselves, especially, and or others, and then kind of turning that on itself a little bit, being like they are also just stories. Like it doesn't make them real or unreal, but it fascinates me in how it
Inspires
influences,
and
how it
yeah.
influences reality.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like I'm being hella vague. Sorry. What else do I do?
No, it's
I
all
don't know. I
good.
spend a lot of time with my cats. I drink a lot of coffee.
I know you like your coffee.
I
yeah,
really love
yeah,
my coffee.
yeah. It's all good. That's your place of luxury.
It really is. Just one cup of coffee.
She got
a day
on me
and I
earlier
will be happy.
for we started talking about luxury, and are you anti-luxury?
No.
Okay. Well, we were talking about that earlier, so that's why I was like, I'm getting on her, but I had luxury in my little mission statement for the brand or whatever, a Carolet. Uh-oh,
Your phone died?
we're going down.
Okay.
Anyway, I think my battery's getting low, so that's a sign. Peace and love, a Carolet for the humble and creative mind.
Wait, we can use my phone and I'll text it to you.